Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever in the world you are watching this show today. This is the West Ham Network, and this is your Hammersmill Headlines in association with the guys over at Knees Up Mother Brown, KUMB.com. So make sure you go over and check out their content there. This is your David Moyes press conference ahead of the game against Anderlecht. Earlier on, myself and Dan from the 12th Man sat down and discussed who we think our starting 11 will be. Stay tuned on the channel where you will get to see your choice of the starting 11. And of course, it's good to get the information coming out from the boss man himself, David Moyes, who took the seat alongside Angelo Ogbonna today in the press conference, which was nice to see Oggy back there leading the line from the front alongside the boss man as well. So, you know, without further ado, it's the press conference. So let's get started on a big update, I would say, today. A really big update in the West Ham world. So first and foremost, Moyes was asked about team news. And he went on and he said the following: I think most of the players are fine. Mickey Antonio has a wee bit of a cold, which has kept him out of training for a day or two. So we're a little unsure on him. We've got a couple of knocks and niggles, but I think we'll be okay. Aguerd is beginning to make his way. He's doing a bit on the grass, and I hope next week he can join bits of football. He's pretty good specimen, so he's one I might try to push on quite quickly. But we need to get him some under 23 games and stuff like that. Maxwell, as in Corney, had a small calf strain. I hope he's going to be okay, and hopefully it'll be the middle of next week though when we get him on the grass. Now, with regards to the Antonio news, it's not so bad. I mean, he's not ruling him out as such. He's still potentially available for West Ham for this game. It's just that Moyes is managing the player and the expectations. So that's not a bad thing. That's a good situation for West Ham to be in. And I think he probably might be there or thereabouts. They're just probably giving him the rest just to see how he is and see how he recovers from this. So that's positive news. Now let's talk about Aguerd. Now, listen, we know these sort of players can bounce back really quickly from injuries. We've been hearing nonstop that they have been making, and he's been making really good recovery in his recovery since his injury in pre-season. And the fact of the matter is that he was seen in the training today. He wasn't training with the rest of the squad, but he did have a ball at his feet and he was doing a few keepy-uppies on the grass. Now, David Moyes in the past has alluded to the fact that some of these players can make this step up quickly, but David Moyes is not going to give too much away. Now, if we had Aguerd come back just before this World Cup break, and let me tell you something now, Aguerd will want to be pushing himself because he will want to travel on that plane for Morocco as well. So it's vital that he gets as much game time as he possibly can, and that puts ourselves into a good situation. I do believe that they will manage his expectations, they'll manage his situation, and they'll manage his injury really well. But it is very good to know that Aguerd is making his way on the field. So under 23 games, potentially next week. What a movement for West Ham. What's going to be like a new signing for us. It really, really is. And it's going to give Moyes another big decision, loads of decisions to make in the back of the fence, which is positive as well. And on top of that, he spoke about Max Corney and he said that he had a small calf strain. But I hope he's going to be okay. And I think we've been seeing Max Corney on social media. If you haven't, he's been putting training videos up, showing his calves, doing really heavy duty work on those. So he looks like he's there or thereabouts. And I think he'll be available for the game potentially at the weekend against Southampton or the games next week, where I've got an abundance of games coming up our way. So it's chances for players there to come and make their mark. And I think when Corney comes back, and imagine when Aguerd comes back, we're nearly pretty much at a full fit squad. When was the last time we had a chance to say that? Leave your comments and let me know your thoughts on that as well. And then it goes on to Moyes talking about the squad competition. Since we've had the players, he says we want real competition here, and I think we have it. We have a real strong group of players who are doing well. I think at the moment we've got ourselves in a good position in the group, and we want to qualify and we want to keep everyone involved. Everything there that you want to hear from a boss, talking about the fact that the squad is coming together, not just on the field, but off the field in terms of injuries, recoveries from all this situation. So it's good news coming out from West Ham, and long may that good news continue as well. Now, next up, he was asked about Anderlecht. And of course, we played them last week and we got to see a little bit about what they were about. And he said it was a pretty tight game. I think we just about shaded it overall. Areola had to make a good save in the last minute. What a fantastic save that was. And I think the biggest thing for us is to continue making chances, try to get clean-cut chances and finish them. Anderlecht played well, and Silkeborg have also shown their ability to win. Of course, they won 5-0 last week, but we've got 2 games at home now, and we know winning one of them will probably see us qualify. And he's so right, it does. You will see from all the videos that we're doing and all the videos we've got coming up how vital it would be for West Ham just to get this victory over the board, create that big gap between us and second place, qualify for the competition and put to bed the competition for a while, concentrate in the league and move all the way up if we can, as much as we possibly can. There's the incentive right there. Win this game, get the job done, and progress forward. So fingers crossed we can do that as well. Moyes then was asked about the recent run of results. He then went on and said in his reply was, you can have a slow start or a great start and it can change around. We don't feel we started as well as we could have done, but we've got ourselves together with the new players and they've got themselves acquainted with us. We're getting results now and hopefully we can keep going. We've won 5 out of 6 in our last few games. We're beginning to go in the right direction and our new players are doing really well. We're seeing better signs from the players who have done so well in the last 2 years as well. And I completely concur with everything he's saying there. You can see these players gelling and you can also see that there's still room for improvement. And if we're winning games with room for improvement, then could you imagine when everyone is tickety-boo and ticking on all the right elements? Because we do have the core of a fantastic squad here. I really, really do. And I really believe it. And this is why we always sit here and say, trust in Moyes and trust what he's trying to build. Because I genuinely believe that is something that he is doing at the club. Next, he was asked about Ogbonna. Of course, Ogbonna sat beside him in the press conference, and he said, if you think of it, when we lost Angelo last season, we were in the top 3 in the league, and we probably had our best form in that period. It was probably when we lost Angelo that it started to dip a bit. He gave us a balance at the time. It's a big injury to come back from for any player, but for a 33-year-old, it's even tougher. He's doing really well and he's on course. I think he's still probably got a bit more to go, and these sorts of games have helped him in terms of getting back into it. We're trying to get him ready to help us in all of our games. Now, listen, again, I'm not going to hold my hand up, and I'll say there's several times throughout his career at West Ham, I've slagged him off. I'll give him credit where credit's due. To bounce back from this injury at that age in terms of footballing age, it is a fantastic. He is obviously a very, very good athlete who takes his job as serious as he possibly can to bounce back and give us the performances he's been giving us. And he's given Moyes something to think about. You know, you can play these games as well. And if you've got Aguerd coming back, you've got Aguerd, Ogbonna, you've got Zuma, you've got options. You've got Kira who can play there, but obviously he's playing out in the right back position. You've got options in that defense. Bringing Aguerd back into the equation and having a fully fit Ogbonna gives David Moyes options, and good options at that, which we will all love to see. So fantastic from that side of things. Then, of course, he moved on to the strikers. Now, with the news that Antonio is a doubt, he possibly is a doubt for the game, he was asked about the recent form of Scamacca, and he went on and he said, I think I've been impressed by him from day one. Some of the stuff he's done is really good. He had a virus at the start, so it's taken us a bit of time to get him going. The version we've got at the moment has done really good, but we think he can go even better. Again, I completely agree with him. I think he can. He is a fantastic footballer from every single element. Not blessed with pace. However, he has everything else about him. He's got a bit of va-va-voom. He's clever on the ball. He opens up the space. He's a front-forward thinking player. He's always on the edge of the defenders. He's always breaking the lines. He's always breaking the defence. He knows how to penetrate through that defence as well. And he's a Paqueta midfielder's dream. You know, Paqueta, he says to Paqueta, put the ball there, I'll get in front of the ball. Put the ball there, I'll find the ball. I'll find the space. Don't you worry about that. You do your job, let me do my job. And that's what we're getting from a Scamacca type player. And on top of that, which you've seen from our daily when I've done with Dan earlier on, you are seeing a player that's playing with so much confidence, scoring the goals. But when he comes off, you're putting on an Antonio. I mean, it's causing defenses problems. And I can see that growing arms and legs as long as we have a fit Antonio. And fingers crossed he recovers, which I think he will. Then so be it. I mean, that's going to give many a team problems, 100%. Now, another player that's been topical for West Ham fans and whether or not he deserves to play or not is Manu Lanzini, been at the club for going on 9 years, I believe it is now. And people have been talking about, should he be there, should he not? Now, Lanzini has started all of West Ham's 5 Europa Conference League games and being involved, if you think about it, in 5 wins out of 5 in the Europa Conference League. And he's hoping to make it 6 out of 6 versus Anderlecht, as obviously the game is on Thursday as well. Now, he is predominantly the number 10, but he has been a regular member of the European squads. And David Moyes then went on and spoke about Lanzini individually and said, I think he's a better player as a number 8 now. He's played really well there a couple of years ago in Burnley as a centre midfielder. I actually think he's a better there at the moment behind the ball. I see him helping me build the play a bit in that role now, and I really like him as a player. Now, people will call him one of the favourites around David Moyes, around West Ham, and it probably is, but I still think, I don't think his time is done at West Ham yet. I think there's a place in this squad for Lanzini. When he is down and out, when people doubt him the most, he comes back and bounces back and gives us performance after performance after performance. So I think Moyes trusts in one of the original cohorts of West Ham, and he is going to keep producing for us. Now, he didn't have the greatest of games in the last game against Anderlecht, but I don't doubt for a second he's going to play tomorrow night, and that will pay dividends, because hopefully he gives us a good performance. I think Anderlecht are there for the taking. No ifs or buts about it. West Ham can definitely get at Anderlecht. And I think it's going to be vital for players like Lanzini to get game time, to prove and show what he is capable of doing. Again, you always feel like with players like Lanzini that when people say, you rule them out and think, oh, no, there's no more future at the club, they come back and prove that they are more than capable of doing a job at the club. And I think he is. He's a squad player that will step in when he needs to and do a job for the club. So I think he'll play tomorrow night, and fingers crossed he will get a good job done. And there you go. There is your David Moyes press conference. That's me bringing you the highlights version of it. Any comments, leave it in the comment section as well. Let us know your thoughts on potentially Antonio being a doubt for the game. Max Cornet's on his way back. Aguerd is on his way back as well. But listen, thank you very much for joining me on this Hammers Headlines today in association with the guys over at kumb.com. Make sure you do go and check them out on their website and on their forum. And of course, like we do, if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, leave us your comments with your honest feedback as well. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can also click the join option. And stay safe and come on. Sorry, before I go, tonight, Old School Hammers, 11 o'clock. Make sure you join the lads for that as well, for a live chinwag with Budgie and Kieran. Take it easy. Come on, you Irons.